If you're going to talk about any project built on the internet that involves public participation, be it Wikipedia, a social media, or even a cryptocurrency project, you're going to need a basic understanding of the different kinds of social network structures, of which there's sort of three. The first is a protocol network. The best examples of one of these on the modern internet is Wikipedia. It's a network made up of a bunch of users who all voluntarily maintain a common project. While there is a Wikimedia Foundation that maintains the expense and upkeeping of hosting the website, Wikipedia is managed by people who volunteer as editors, a job anyone can do. And because there are so many people who volunteer as editors, it's difficult for any one person to take over the project. Other editors will notice and keep them in check. Protocol networks are maintained by users, and their uses are determined by users. If enough users don't like what's happening on the network, they can propose to change it. The one flaw of Wikipedia and other protocol networks is that it's kind of hard to make a financially sustaining protocol network. Wikipedia is dependent on donations, and therefore its expansion is limited. The second kind of network is a corporate network, which is the kind of social network that basically any social media site is. There is a centralized company overseeing the network function and making decisions for how it operates and what users are allowed to do. Corporate networks can generate revenue by selling advertisements or selling user data to third parties, and this allows for corporate networks to reinvest in themselves and create new products, as well as more streamlined user experiences at a faster rate than protocol networks are capable of. This is why we see such a shift from a lot of protocol networks in the early years of the internet to almost exclusively corporate networks now. I'm sure this isn't breaking news to anyone who's been online in the last 15 years or so, but corporate networks kind of suck. Users really can't control what the companies do, and just because a company is in favor of a certain kind of policy one day doesn't mean they won't totally change their mind and go back on it tomorrow, or sell the platform to another owner with very different values in the case of Twitter/X. The commitments and promises of corporate networks to their users are not guaranteed in any way. You just kind of have to have faith that the company won't do something you won't like. Nothing's set in stone. I'm going to say something that sounds a little bit like I'm shilling for cryptocurrency, and please believe me, I'm not. It's necessary to explain how a lot of cryptocurrency projects work. There is a possibility for a third kind of social network, that is a mix between the two, the blockchain network. The blockchain, the technical tool that cryptocurrency is built on, is theoretically about creating systems of trust between people without needing third-party involvement. We talked about this briefly earlier when I introduced the idea of a peer-to-peer currency with an automated ledger. So on one hand, we're going to hold that idea, a system of trust mediated through a piece of software, and in the other, we're going to hold the idea of what we just talked about with social and protocol networks. A governance structure, the way in which a social network organizes itself and is maintained. So why couldn't we build a social network that is able to financially sustain itself in the way that corporate networks are able to, while maintaining the decentralized, user-driven structure of the protocol network? It might be possible, though the tools that could make it possible are still very much in their infancy.